Gallagher's.
And Willie was just checking they had got the first 5. Yes, he had, in the Gallagher bearing Bingham, and we're just watching Ballyburn come back on the big screen. This was the important one amongst your novices.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people have been talking about him, but the first time he's wowed me, that was some performance. Just to do, like Paul, to take a look around, turning for home, I said, Paul, but that must have been the feel that the horse was giving him, and then he just opened him up, and I was afraid, were we going to have a Nanny Power moment at the last? He went into it so fast, and he just pinged it in a way again, and to come up the hill like that, wow, what a performance.
Particularly as he was keen this time, wasn't he?
Well, Paul says he pretends to be keen. He looks keen. He's awkward with his head. Even walking around the parade ring, he's all the time shaking it, and he said he looks keener than he is. It's just his head carriage and the way he does things, but he doesn't actually pull as hard as it looks. To me, it looks like he's pulling hard, but Paul said no.
And you surely took great, what's the word I'm looking for? You must have taken great confidence from Slade Steele winning the Supreme yesterday.
Yeah, that was, when you see what he did to the rest of our, what we thought were good team yesterday, and I said, wow, that really puts that form back in perspective again.
And what do you think this horse is? What do you think you'll be doing with him next season?
Anything. That was a champion hurdle performance in my book. You'd love to be going chasing with his pedigree and his size and scope. But I imagine, there you are. Lost him out himself, the champion hurdle next year. I don't know. We'll have to have a word with Ronnie and David Manassa, who own the horse. And, they might say, let's get on chasing and maybe try and make a Gold Cup horse out of him. I don't know.
He's got a staying type of pedigree, hasn't he? As well as some speed.
Yeah, he's out of an old Vic Mayer, I think. And you'd love that by Flemingsforth. But then, I'm thinking if you had 2 horses going for a champion hurdle, you might get one there. The way we've seen this week, Nicky Henderson must be devastated having to pull out his horses. And that's what I'm always dreading. That we have like a black swan comes in from the side, takes you out of the knees, and with the sort of firepower that we have and that Nicky has, and that it's going to be a very quiet week for him, and we all feel for him, because. We'd rather have beaten Constitution Hill to win the. But that's we're good pals, and we like the competition. And it's just awful for people when you save up for the whole year, your energy, everything, put it all into this, and then the horses are taken out because of some mystery sort of whatever's going through the yard. We don't know. He doesn't know, and it's tough. It's very tough.
As a sports person, it's right that you want to beat the best around, but you also know how Nicky Henderson is feeling.
Yeah. It's our one dread every year, myself and Jackie. Where is it coming from? What's going to come out of the side that you can't see coming? And obviously that's what's happened. 7 barrows this year. Yeah. Whereas not good for the racing either, but we like competition. We have to have it.
Absolutely, totally agree. But yours are in fine fettle. That's 98 up, 4th winner. Well done.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
And we spoke to them at the Dublin Racing Festival. I did, and I rather excitedly said, "You've got the Supreme winner." I was completely wrong. You've got the Ballymore winner.
I left that to Ronnie.
The Gallagher.
Oh gosh, sorry. Good point.
Good
catch. Well done.
Do I start again?
Sadly, we're live. How is it feeling now?
Unbelievable. Ronnie's done this before. It's my first time. Unbelievable. I haven't spoken to Willie for 5 weeks. Ronnie spoke to him, chose the race. I just came right from the start. I said, I'm on the journey. You're the racing people. I leave it to you.
And you were just saying, you know how it is. With horses, things can go wrong. We've seen it with Nicky Henderson this week. You can't count your chickens before they're hatched. So have you been keeping David's feet on the ground?
No. Listen, it's a team event between the two of us. All we want is the best for the horse and pick the right race. And I think we did at the end up. We'll pick the right race. So he won.
You've had Simon Sig in this position as well, though, so that a horse can be absolutely brilliant, but there are highs, there are lows.
There's more lows than highs. So, but when there's today, there's today.
Enjoy the good days in sport, because
we'll make the most of it.
Yeah, you both know that, don't you? With your background, you both know that. But it must have been some high. The build up to the festival, then coming here today with a horse that was so talked about. Give us an insight about what that was like.
It was the hype. If we'd been 3-4 to 1, just one of the horses. But, I was saying, to get here, you finish your work Thursday, then Blood's Friday, then you've got to get on the ferry, then you've got to hear that it's settled in. It's easier managing footballers, I promise you.
The thing is, he's better not reading the papers. I hope he gets a good night's sleep tonight.
Well, I'm not going to help here because you've got a horse here that could do anything, couldn't he? I mean,
Slow down. Let's just enjoy today.
Correct.
Stop it today. No more. Don't ask me what next.
I wasn't going to.
We're just gonna party.
Oh, I like the sound
My
of
box
that.
will be rocking tonight.
I like the sound of that.
David, you want to
Well,
get
enjoy it.
Well, enjoy this horse of immense potential and enjoy your moment on the podium as well.
Thank
well
you very
done.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ballyburn has just won, really impressively, the Gallagher Birmingham Novices Hurdle, 4th winner of the week for Paul Tannen, and his first on the day. Now, you were speaking yesterday about the pressure surrounding State Man and Lossiemouth because they're expected. Surely this was similar?
He was, yeah, and it was a new day, so no, he obliged her, didn't he? He lived up to the hype, and I was very taken by it. I thought it was a huge performance. I've ridden most of the ones in behind me, and you know, they were. I thought it was a good field, competitive field, but he's put in a huge performance to me anyway.
You've spoken about his head carriage and how he isn't really that keen. Was he a little keen today?
He was a little today, but stepping back up like 2 miles the last day, and I just went, right, go on. So I suppose we're changing his mind again today. So, but he's never going to charge off. He just you have to play with him and just pacify him a little bit, and no, he was fine. Yeah.
He just wants to use himself, doesn't he? Isn't that's what it is?
Just wants to get on with it. I suppose you'd be more worried if he wasn't like that now, because we're accustomed to him being like that. So, you know, he went to the start with it completely on the floor, but that's just him.
And presumably you weren't wanting to do too much too soon on him because that ground is quite testing. You were saying that yesterday.
And today it's dried out a little bit. It's holding today. Yesterday it was wet and deep. Today it's just a bit drier and a bit holding. So it's hard work, but he made it look easy.
He did, very, very easy indeed. Afterwards I asked Willie, what is this horse? He was talking champion hurdle, but he was also saying he'd go fences. He's got the pedigree to stay really well, and yet he's got the speed for 2 miles. I mean, what do you think he is?
I was just worried about today, to tell you the truth, and we'll work all that out in the end, but all I do know is he's a very, very good horse, and his jumping, you'd face him down to a fence tomorrow if you wanted to. So no, the world is his oyster at the moment, and hopefully we can keep the wheels on the bus and see Willie can make up them plans.
I know it was in the first flush of victory, but Harold Kirk said to me, this is the best we've got. Now that is some large statement, is it not?
It's a fair statement, yeah. I don't know, it's hard ridden out many of them at home recently, but he's visually very good, and look, it's a fair statement, but yeah, he's exciting for sure.
The other thing that Willie Mullins said was that it's actually a shame that Nicky Henderson has suffered what he has with his string, and that you, and I'm sure you feel the same as Willie, that you want the competition to turn up, you want a deep race, and sadly John Bond's exit from El Fabiolo's Champion Chase takes a little bit off it in terms of opposition.
It does. I suppose the way you look at it is that could be us, so you have to feel sympathy for them, and you know, it could be anyone there. I have a cold myself, you know what I mean. Glad I didn't pass it off to the horses. So you know, we could all be in that situation. It's just bad timing for it, and you know, it is what it is, unfortunately.
If Edwardson goes forward in the Champion Chase, could this be set up for a huge performance from Al Fabiolo? I'm thinking about what he did in the Irish Arkle.
It could be, yeah. Look, I hope he can win first. That's the most important thing. But yeah, I have a break now for a while. I can go in and study it again, and we'll work out some plan and probably go to plan C by the time we get to the start as usual.
Well, very, very best of luck, and make sure you enjoy this as well, because that was fabulously exciting. Well done.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
It's hands and heels for Factor File and Mark Walsh as he comes to the line to win the Brown Advisory.
Well, Willie Mullins is now one off that amazing century of winners at the Cheltenham Festival, but most importantly, he's just had a brilliant winner of the Brown Advisory in Factor File. 2 brilliant performances now to really light up the crowd. Yeah. Ballyburn and now Factor File. What did you make of it?
Well, Gold Cup performance. You know, he potentially, he's a horse I loved from the first day he came into the yard. JP wanted to go jumping. I said no. I thought he was good enough to win the bumper last year. It took a dream to share to beat him, owned by JP, of course. But you know, that I've always seen that potential in him, and he just looks. If you wanted to paint a steeplechaser, he's what you'd paint.
It's the Florida Pearl preparation, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's got the temperament. You know, he's like a child's pony in the stable. You go in every evening, he wants a carrot. and he's that sort of, I mean, he's just like that, and he's got the temperament for it. Now, I was a little surprised how keen he was there, but then I think possibly, I didn't look at the times, but maybe it didn't go fast enough, and Mark was riding him very conservatively, because I mean you could see the way he was jumping out of Mark's hand at every fence. He wanted to get on with the job, and but he'll settle. I think he'll learn. He'll settle.
Jay Manger was pointing out the lack of equipment relatively on his head. He's not a horse that you associate, clearly, you weren't expected to be keen.
We debated, we don't usually put even a noseband on him. And just today, 3 miles and, what is it, 3 miles and 1 or just 3 miles and 100 yards or something, I just said we'd go with an ordinary noseband. But I think he's good enough to be a real old-fashioned horse, just for racing snaffle, nothing else. And I like doing that, but we don't, we don't do it a lot, but it's great to have one that I'll be looking forward to just racing him in a snaffle, I think.
So you'll be working backwards from the Gold Cup, presumably, next season?
Yes, yeah. And you know the plan. I mean, we'll probably start off with a John Durkin, then nowadays we'll go to Christmas, then we'll go Dublin Racing Festival, and then we'll come here. Well, that's the bones of the plan.
Yes.
But everything has to stay right, As I was saying earlier on, I mean, I look at 7 Barrows this year, things just not right, so it's tough. Anyhow, that's the plan. But JP might have other ideas, so I'll have to have a chat with him about that. He might want to come to England or something like that.
Well, you do have the at the moment reigning Gold Cup winner as well to be thinking about, Galopin Des Champs.
Yeah.
Does he? Do they remind? Does he not at all? Go and tell me how they're different.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about the speed that Factorfile shows, which Galopin Des Champs showed as well at the novice stage of his career.
They do. Well, I'm just looking at their in the stable. I mean, in fact, Galopin Des Champs is fairly relaxed, all right, but I never put them as sort of comrades or anything like that on the gallops. Even though both are very tall horses, but Galopin Des Champs doesn't look tall. When you look at him, you think he's only 16 hands or 16-1, and then you stand in and he's actually over 17 hands. And that guy is probably over 17 hands, but he looks it, and he's a bigger frame of a horse. So he's different. He's more like what I call a French steeplechaser, whereas Galopin Des Champs isn't. He's not as butch maybe as Factorfile to look at. And other people will probably tell you different, but we all see different things with our own eyes, don't we?
I look forward to seeing what you're going to be doing with Factorfile, and I'm going to wish you best of luck for the rest of the day and bringing that 100 up. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Stephen McQueen just said he got excited there, and I'm not surprised. On third place, Giovinco, a fine third in the Brown Advisory. What a huge run.
Yeah, it was massive, wasn't it? Look, we're in a very fortunate place today. Scu had said to me just to drop him out, get him to switch off. He's been a little bit keen. So going out there, 6 runners, just drop him in and enjoy yourself. You don't hear that very often. He travelled brilliant, jumped amazing. Going to 2 out, I got excited. But look, he's ran an absolute screamer.
That's a huge step up on what he's done before. It looks like he's finally found his maturity.
Yeah, he's probably, we put a red hood on him today because he's that type of an individual that can get a bit lit up. But look, he had excuses for 1 or 2 below par runs, so I'm not saying I came here fancying him, but I did think he'd run a big race.
Oh, you fancy a good career from here on in?
Yeah, I love him.
Stephen, well done.
Thank you.
Second in the Brown Advisory is Monty's star, Henry de Bromhead, the trainer, of course. That was a huge run on just his 3rd start over fence.
Yeah, delighted. It was really good. Obviously, he'd love to win, but there we go. The winner looked very good. He has all year. And but I think we lost little in defeat. And yeah, he's improving all the time. He's a really exciting horse for us. And sure, look, we'll probably start at the Gold Cup and work our way backwards now and go from there. Yeah, absolutely.
I was assuming it was going to be the Manila Indo route.
Yeah, definitely. So, but delighted, and he's still a big raw horse. I mean, I know he's 7, but I think he'll keep improving, hopefully. Yeah.
And what did Rachel say afterwards?
Yeah, she said he was brilliant. He really ran his heart out, and she said the ground was tough. A horse that jumps like him, maybe. If it was a little bit looser, a bit better. But hey, listen, the winner was really good, and that's it. But we're delighted with our lad.
Sets up for an exciting season next season. Yeah, best of luck with him.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Langadon by 3 will win the Coral Cup.
First horse ever to win 2 Coral Cups, and his trainer is Dan Skelton. 7 winners at the Cheltenham Festival, 6 of them in the hardest handicaps that you can find. You've managed to do it again with Langer Dan.
He's a remarkable little horse. He had a surgery after the meeting last year and missed Aintree. Colm, who owns him, had a torrid time, 2 big shots out 2 weeks ago. This horse just knows how to do it for us on the big day. I'm very, very proud of the whole team. He bled on occasions this year at the racecourse, and he had ulcers. We treated those, and he's just a remarkable little horse. You said on Thursday night on Road to Cheltenham that the horse was just beginning to please you, was just beginning to come. What had you seen? Just the last 3 weeks, he just started to come alive. And I said to Amber on Saturday, so we're working with the slowest horse we can find and make sure you win. And she only won by a head. So I thought, well, the head's better than nothing. He hasn't been winning a raffle by a head recently. So it's just a remarkable little animal. We've spoken before about how important it is to get on the board at the Cheltenham Festival. It means so much. It towers over the season, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, and you know it does. And when you get here, it does even more. But you know, we're trying to do a job 365 days of the year. These 4 mean more than anything else. Of course they do. We're just trying to bring the right horses here, and we're chuffed to bits. I'm so pleased for you. It's been a difficult run up to the festival, hasn't it? With the George Gently case lingering on. You put out a statement on Saturday, and you talked about the chair of the judicial panel saying that there were mitigating and aggregating factors to your conduct. What have you learned as a result of this whole process? I've learned so much. Too much to go into detail. I'm just so glad that's behind us. Yeah. I am, and you know, I could talk about a lot more, but I need to put that behind me. And you know, the chair was right in what she said. There was some good, there was some bad, and it's there for people to read if they want to. Dan, I'll let you go and enjoy. Thank you. It's Cheltenham Festival success for Harry Skelton, and most importantly, back-to-back Coral Cups with Langer Dan. Unprecedented. It's never been done before. How does it feel? No, brilliant. That he's a wonderful little horse. You ride him in amongst them like that and he thrives off it. He was getting knocked about the top of the hill, but I was following the 2 horses I really thought, the 3, I thought the Gigginstown horse, I thought Bilton Baltimore, Bilton Ballymore and Willie's horse. So I was I was happy where I was, but today he travelled really well and for a lot longer than he did last year, and it was just a question of not really letting him go too soon, but he's magic. You know, he's not very big, but he's been superb. Were you coming here with the same kind of confidence as this day last year? Because to my eye from the outside, he doesn't seem to have been as well as he was this time last year. No, like we'd gone through a few little issues with him there. Like the last day, he actually had a bit of blood from the nostril, which was stated on the day, and like he just hadn't really been firing like we probably wanted him to. But in the last sort of month, 3 weeks, we've managed to get him out onto our grass gallops. That's really turned him on, and really brought out the improvement in him. We obviously left plenty to work on for the day, and that's what you do to train these horses for big handicaps like that. But Dan's done a fantastic job, and Amber Blythe, our head girl, who's in charge of him, magnificent job with him all year. And it sounds like it's the kind of scenario that he thrives in as well. He does, and he's actually what he thrives in is when you actually ride him in amongst things a little bit more, and he's, when you're allowed to do that in a bigger field, he loves that. And when that happens, he's very good. I said before with you how important it is, and just saying with Dan, to get winners at the Cheltenham Festival. It towers over the season to such a degree, and that you could have the most brilliant season, and if you haven't won here, it doesn't seem to count for as much as it should. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, look, there's no hiding the fact what Cheltenham is. Cheltenham is a very, very important 4 days of our calendar. It's our Olympics. We want to win 365 days of the year, but these 4 more days are just that little bit more important. It's where everyone who comes into National Hunt Racing strives to win. Look at this, it's a theatre. It is like no other festival, it is like no other meeting. We shouldn't get away from the fact how special this place is and how hard it is to win. We want to thrive and we want to go to the very top, and we want to, we keep trying to do so, and we just keep building and try and get there. But look, today we've had a winner. It's very special to do that. Might you be back here with an expected party in a couple of races' time? That'd be nice. Whether he just handles that softer ground remains to be seen, but the handicap has given him a chance for running on, a stiff enough mark all year, but we'll see how we get on. Yeah, and a big day tomorrow as well, but that's for tomorrow. Enjoy this. Well done. Thank you.
Gentleman Debate is closing, but it's Blackmore again. Captain Guinness wins the Veterinary Queen Mother Champion Chase.
Another champion chase for Henry de Bromhead. Goodness me, obviously the race changed shape dramatically. What did you think at that point?
Yeah, sure, look, it obviously opened it right up then, and yeah, the whole way I just kept going. this horse deserves to win a Grade 1 so much, you know, and so delighted for Declan and Josephine Lanny. They're brilliant to train for, and he just deserves it so much. I thought Rachel really forced that jump when she was upside the favourite, and you know, maybe she forced him into that, who knows. But yeah, it was brilliant.
Were you worried coming up the hill? Did you feel he'd have enough left?
Definitely, yeah, I was. Yeah. But he really toughed it out. Hey.
You mentioned the owners. How much would it mean to them?
Oh, sure, it's amazing. Like, I mean, you know, it's just brilliant. You know, Declan's and Josephine, they're great supporters, and it's just brilliant for them. You know, there's, you know, they have 3 or 4 horses in training, and I'm just delighted for them.
This horse, you know, you go back, he's always run well here. He likes it here. He's often just found one too good.
Absolutely, you know, and we've been saying he so deserved to win a Grade 1. We were gutted when Nicky we went to Sandown last April thinking, you know, we might get one there, and suddenly John Bon was there, and yeah, but it's amazing. I'm just delighted for them. It really means a lot, this one.
The horses are running well, Henry.
Yeah, they're running great. Yeah, we hit the crossbar a couple of times there, and yeah, look, it's these are the wins you dream of, you know, you dream of them, so delighted.
Another Grade 1, what up?
Yeah, thanks a minute.
She's won a Gold Cup, she's won a Champion Hurdle, she's won a Grand National, for goodness sakes. Now she has won a Queen Mother Champion Chase on Captain Guinness, bringing Henry de Bromhead his 4th success in the race. Many congratulations. You were alongside Paul Townend when Al Fabiolo made his mistake. How much of this were you aware of, and how did it affect what you were doing in the race?
Yeah, well, I knew he was, I could see him or hear him or make the mistake beside me, so I knew he was kind of out of the equation then. So yeah, your thinking changes, I suppose, but it happened quite early on, so we still had a long way to go, but yeah, you're still just trying to ride from fence to fence, but yeah, it does change your brain a little bit, for sure.
So it must have changed your plans going in. So you've gone from plan A to C or D. Tell me about that move that you made to go more forward.
Yeah, I suppose he's such a good jumper, that the horse in front, and yeah, I just wanted to make him do that, I suppose. Sorry, I'm stumbling.
Okay, don't worry.
I'm a good jumper as well, and I just didn't want him to have it too easy in front, but yeah, it was a long way up the hill at the same time after the last. I was glad we got to the line.
You're saving a bit in classic Hugh style.
Yeah, trying to do that, but then I was thinking halfway up the hill I didn't do it enough, but yeah, he's an incredible horse, and he's just fantastic. I'm not shocked, because I thought his day would come, but at the same time I can't believe it came.
Yeah. This season particularly, given he had the recurrence of the atrial fibrillation, I suppose at one point it was really hard to imagine yourself in the winner's enclosure with him now.
Yeah, he ran so well here last year. I know he was beaten a long way, but he still ran really, really well behind a incredibly talented horse. He ran a really good race, and he's been in great form at home, and yeah, just when you're riding it for Henry around here this week, he does just get them spot on. So yeah, I was very, very hopeful coming into the race, and yeah, just I'm so delighted it actually happened. Yeah,
it's fantastic that he's finally got his Grade 1, because as you said, he's been knocking on the door in those top races, and then he had the recurrence of that problem in the race that looked like his, and he's actually done it on an even bigger stage.
Oh, the biggest stage of all. Just for everyone, I know Henry's won this race a few times, but I haven't, and it's just an incredible race to win.
Yeah. What's it like to add that to your collection of great races?
I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to let these things kind of sink into you. You know, it's just it's just unbelievable.
And your mum's here, which was great to see. She said immediately after the race, sometimes it's really hard to watch. I was going, what a beautiful ride. And she's saying, but if you're a mum, it's really, really hard to watch. It's nice to have her here and to hold the trophy aloft with her.
Yeah, brilliant. My parents obviously helped me so much when I was younger, riding ponies, all that kind of stuff, and I suppose they're they're the people that give you your grounding in riding, and they were so good to me as a kid and brought me everywhere, and me and my brother and sister. So yeah, that's definitely helping me now.
Yeah, this is the special moments, paying all of that back.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So yeah, it's just incredible.
Well, many congratulations, Rachel. It was a lovely ride. It's beautiful to see him in the winners' enclosure. Well done to you and Henry.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Lydia. Thank you.
Well, it's a race that has a history of throwing in something we didn't expect, and we didn't expect El Fabiolo to exit in the way that he did. His stable companion, Gentleman de Me, chasing home Captain Guinness. What were your thoughts about, I know you haven't seen him yet, but what were your thoughts about El Fabiolo?
I was very concerned the first 4 or 5 jumps, how badly he was jumping. What did he jump? 3 and then made the mistake. And I'd say 2 out of the 3 were bad. He jumped the last fence well, and I thought, okay, he's warmed up now, he's going to go. And then he came out, just stood too far off, didn't get any height. So, fabulous win for Henry and Rachel.
Yeah, it's a lovely success.
Declan Landy, no difference.
You know what that feels like, but I mean, yeah, you're right. The writing was on the wall, wasn't it, from an early stage?
Yeah. The first 2 fences, I wasn't at all happy.
And it was a stable jockeys pulling up, wasn't it? It was kind of like, Paul Tanner was saying, right, this has to end here.
Yeah. I mean, there's no point in going on. There's hopefully Aintree.
Yes.
Or Punchestown.
Yes.
Hopefully he's sound. He looked okay coming in. We'll see. We'll find out over the next few days what's wrong with him.
Was there a point where you thought, hang on a minute, Gentleman de Me might win it?
There was, yeah. We were. I thought, and Mark thought the same. He thought, I'm going to get back. But Rachel's style of riding, she always had a little bit up her sleeve, and she's an artist at that. You've never got Rachel beaten. She'll always pull out more.
Absolutely. I'll let you go and congratulate her and Henry.
Thank you. Cheers.
Going to be the Skeltons at the double. There might be a party tonight. Unexpected party wins the Johnny Henderson Grand Annual.
2 winners on the day for Dan Skelton, with Langadan in the Coral Cup and now unexpected party in the Grand Annual. The race, he got a ring round this time last year and he didn't make the cut by 2 this time. He's here.
He is, and a great ride from Harry. I thought we were going to take a time a little more than that, but I suppose with the standing start, he got a great start. And brilliant. I mean, we were trying to get in this race last year, and then out of frustration at the start of this year, I had him super ready at Chepstow. And he won a listed novice chase, and then that bumped his handicap mark up, ran in the Paddy Power off his new mark, and didn't see out the trip, which you can see why I've always been wanting to run over 2. And a great ride. We wanted to come to this race last year. I'm not saying he'd have won it. I'm not, because his form since wasn't really good enough. But I thought he had a chance today, but no more than a chance. I think that was a great ride.
Dropping to this trip, though, that was the key. Harry was saying immediately after the Coral Cup that he was worried about the ground for him.
Well, we were, but only because he'd been the bridesmaid so often, and he'd been in all these big races and figured, but not figured more than figuring, if that makes sense. And then you just start playing on your mind. He won on good ground at Chepstow. Is that all that everything that he has to have? So, your mind starts playing tricks on you. But at the end of the day, I remember coming here with my hired once and saying, I don't think we should run, the ground's too soft. And quite rightly, the owner's husband put his foot down and said it's running. And then I learnt a great thing that day. And if you've got them in form, sometimes the ground's not perfect for them, but you've got to run them.
And when we spoke to you last Thursday, you were also saying about this horse, he's starting to come, he's starting to please me.
I mean, in the winter, he obviously had a great start to the year, and then in the winter it was just nowhere. I mean, he was finishing last in 4, admittedly good 4 runner novices chases, but he was finishing last and never looking like beating a horse. But look, the handicapper reassessed him from the Paddy Power days back to the mark he started off this year, and that was probably a big help to him. But he's very brave over the last 2. We needed 2 big jumps, and I wouldn't say I'm surprised Harry got both jumps, but fair play to the horse. We needed both of them.
And he did need both of them. The reception as well here. Yeah, so many people are pleased with this.
A pretty enthusiastic group of owners, to be fair, and Linda Shanahan has been, I think, to every time we've been here, and she's. I said to her straight away, I said, "You've been the biggest supporter. You've been here every time." And the team that are involved in this horse are all connected to Coolmore friends and relatives and all sorts. So there will be an expected party after an unexpected party.
Well, many congratulations. Sometimes the plan takes 2 years to execute. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Liberty Hunter has just finished second in the Grand Annual. I can see his trainer Evan Williams is gutted, but that's a huge run from a young horse.
Yeah, look, no complaints. We were second best and we had a dream run round, so we've no complaints.
What did Harry say afterwards, just that?
Well, really, he just thought that he was always in a happy place, thought he'd win everywhere, and then those pesky skeletons kept galloping.
But this is a lovely young horse with some achievements ahead of him.
Well, look, I mean, he was, obviously, he's only had 2 completed runs over fences, so it was always a bit of a gamble running in a race that's run at such a fierce gallop as this whole race, you know. So I'm delighted that he's come through it. I had plenty of belief in the horse, but to come and do that, you know, second's lonely, but it's a great run, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And the defeat of Matata, who ran so well in the Arkle, you must have been thinking, oh, that's good.
When the rain came, and then when Nigel's horse ran such a gallant race in the Arkle, I fancied this fella like mad, you know, and he's run a great race.
He's run a great race. I look forward to seeing what else he does. Well done.
Lovely, thank you. Thanks, Lydia. Thank you.
By the hands of Patrick Mullins, it's just been below. Willie Mullins, 100 not out of the Cheltenham Festival.
A century of winners here at the Cheltenham Festival for Willie Mullins. Will we ever see his like again? Unless it's another century from the same person, perhaps. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling right now? You've just been posing for pictures with your team.
It's hard to know how to feel because it's not something anyone ever dreamt of, that anyone would ever have 100 winners in Cheltenham. I know my first one in 1985 was Tourist Attraction. I went home thinking that was going to be my lifetime's achievement, to have a winner in Cheltenham from an Irish yard. At that time they were very scarce. You know, but we just got a tremendous group of owners behind us, and you know you need owners to have a basis of a yard. Then you know, Jackie, my wife, Patrick, David Casey, Ruby, all the team, the backroom team that we have, Ben, my Delmar, my travelling head man, and it's just it just starts with owners. I think, you know, if you've got good owners support you, and they've been tremendous to us down through the years.
And it's the sourcing of the horses as well, I imagine.
Harold Kirk and Pierre Boulard, yes, been tremendous buying horses from all areas like France, flat racing, point to points, English point to points, stores. You know, the racehorses come from all areas, and you never know what the champion of the day are buying. We buy lots of horses, we think they're champions, they're disappointing, and then the ones, maybe the cheaper ones, turn out to be champions. That's what keeps this game going around all the time.
And this is such an incredible place to manage that, an achievement like that. Can you remember the first time that you came to Cheltenham and what you made of it?
Oh, I think it was the year that the snow abandoned the Gold Cup, was it? God knows, I don't know what year it was, but yeah, I mean, to an Irish person, Cheltenham is the mecca of jump racing, and I think racing in general, like the England and Ireland, people jump racing, to have a place like here, which is, you know, place people want to come. It's their cup final, it's their whatever. I get asked to buy horses, and I ask them, you know, what type of a horse do you want? Willie, could you get me something that might run in Cheltenham, not even win in Cheltenham, just to run here and be part of the atmosphere? And that's why we have to be delighted that Cheltenham is what it is. A lot of people say it maybe overshadows the whole thing, but I think without Cheltenham we wouldn't have a vibrant jump racing industry that we have.
Hear, hear. I asked Patrick what might have been the key moments in your career, and he cited when Jigginstown decided to take their horses away, and your reaction to that, the way in which you actually decided that you were going to come back bigger, stronger, better. Do you agree with him with that?
In a way, yes, but it was about survival. We did come back bigger and stronger, but it was about, you know, we knew, what did we lose, about a third of our business at the time, but I knew we still had a good basis, and this is coming back to owners. I had lots of lovely owners, single fellows with one horse, maybe two horses, and you know, I knew I had people that were there to back us, and they did, and we grew again. But every business has something like that. You know, you have bad days in your business. Black swans come in and cut you out. And you know, I look at Nicky this week. I mean, you know, that's the thing we dread, that something like that happens the week before Cheltenham, that the horses lose form for now no apparent reason. So we feel for Nicky. We know what it's like. That it's the one dread everyone has, and so we're lucky. Our horse were firing this week. We took advantage of that, but it's a small sport in a way. So we enjoy our colleagues' wins, but we're also disappointed when they have hard luck. And as a lot of trainers supported me when we go through a rough time. The jockey's room, the weigh room, the trainer's room, it's small even between Ireland and England. Everyone knows everyone else and everyone feels everyone's pain if they have a bad day.
These are wonderful words. I think you've seen that the whole crowd were so delighted for you with this marvellous achievement, and
Thank
you're
you.
not done yet. Many congratulations and best of luck for the rest of the festival as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
My paws are too big.
A very special moment here in the Windsor enclosure. Willie Mullins has worked a century of races at the Cheltenham Festival, and of course his son Patrick was on board Jasmine DeVoe in the Weatherby's Champion bumper. I know from a team perspective you'd have liked it to have come earlier, but this must be a very special moment for you.
It is. I mean, look, it's a number you don't even dream of, so it's something that wasn't possible before, and that the enlarged programme has made it possible, but I'm very privileged to get the 100 for my father. That's a special moment, yeah.
I think it's not just the enlarged programme, is it? It's because the number of winners, particularly in recent seasons, and the dominance of the stable. You're really well positioned to tell us what makes your dad so special.
Well, I always bring it back to when the Gigginstown split happened and we lost the biggest owner in racing and a third or a quarter of our horses. And instead of, in his early 60s, instead of him consolidating and maybe finishing second or third, he went out and he got more owners, more horses, more staff, more problems, and got bigger because of it. And I think if that hadn't happened, we mightn't be where we are right now either.
And it's the calibre of the team as well, the calibre of that staff that he's attracted to the yard.
Well, I mean, the calibre of staff you have: Ben Delmar, Rachel Robbins, Virginie Basco, Dick Dowling, David Casey, Ruby Walsh, and then the owners he's built. Starting with Rich, that was our kick-start. And now, for the many years, the Donnellys, Sheeley Park and others, he's made the very most of everything he's been able to.
And the sourcing of the horses as well with Harold Kirk.
Harold has been amazing. Pierre Boulard as well. They work as a fantastic team, and everything counts. Yeah.
Give us an insight to what it's like working with your dad as well, because it's always different when you're working with a member of your family. Give a sort of insight to a typical day at Clisson.
Several headaches. He could say something one day, and when you do that the next day, he'll give out to you for doing it, and he forgets that he told you to do it the day before. He's always chopping and changing things. He's never standing still. He can't be told no. I remember when David Casey got his appendix out, he couldn't fly down to Melbourne. So Willie said, "Well, can we get him there by land to Melbourne?" Like, who else would even? And it's that kind of thinking, It's outside the box. It's a bit. At times, it can be like the man from the moon, but enough of it works.
And what have you learned from watching your father?
Never be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid of messing up. And like I said, never fall out with anyone. The Gigginstown, they're back now, and when things happen, they happen. And have belief in yourself. Like, I mean, he's a funny man in that the more you try to tell him to do something, the more inclined he is to do the opposite. So you have to work around that as well. Reverse psychology sometimes.
I can see that. Now, you picked right, didn't you? You had a choice of 9 and you picked Jasmine DeVoe?
For once. Well, I couldn't ride the fillies at the weight, so that was 7. Look, he was the horse that had nothing going against him. Everything else had a minor mark against him. The only thing you could hold against him is how he looks. He's very small, he's very narrow, he's very short. He doesn't do anything flashy. But when I had a look under the bonnet in Naas, there was plenty there.
And how did that race pan out? Describe it to me, please.
I wanted to be wide and out of the ruck because he's not a big horse. He don't want to be getting bashed around. I was probably further back than I wanted, but we went a real good gallop for the first 6 furlongs. And then I was able to slide forward down the back straight, get in. And every time I needed to make ground, he was able to do it. So even though we were wide, I was able to go where I wanted. I wasn't at the mercy of anyone else. They're called bumpers for a reason.
Well, many congratulations. I suspect it'll only be a sort of mini celebration tonight because you've got 2 more days of business to get on with.
Yeah, Friday night should be good.
Well, many congratulations. What a brilliant day. Well done.
Thanks, Lydia. Thanks very much.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.